Okay. Awesome. Perfecto. Okie dokie there, folks. Okie dokie. Gather around. We got a nice fisherman right over here, everybody. Nice fisherman. Well, these are the shores of Ship Creek, everybody. Ship Creek. Anybody want to guess why it's called Ship Creek, though? Anybody want to guess? Well, there's ships that dock over there, and this is a creek. How funny is that? Pretty simple up here in Alaska. Now, the shores of Ship Creek. What they do, the water starts off at the Chugach mountain range. Chugach means rainmaker in Athabascan because they actually get about 100 inches of precipitation, technically classifying them as a rainforest there, folks. Now what happens is that water melts during the summer months, or the snow melts, and then it travels down that creek into the Ship Creek area, and then goes out into the ocean. Now the salmon start off over at that bridge right there. That's the salmon spawning ground on just the other side. Those baby fish, those fry fish, okay, they start off right there, and they swim down river, okay? Once they swim down creek, they go out to the Cook Inlet. Once in the Cook Inlet, they spend the next 3 years maturing into the tastiest salmon they can be. Once they're old enough and strong enough, they actually will make their way upstream. Now, the lady fish and the male fish have one goal in life. The male fish want to fertilize those eggs. The lady fish want to lay the eggs. So they start in the Cook Inlet and they swim upstream. First, dodging all the whales, because the whales love to eat the fish. Then they all dodge all these fishermen right here trying to catch the fish. Then they make it up to that green bridge. That's the fish ladder, or the fish observatory deck. Once they make it there, they wait until high tide. Once it's high tide, they then can jump right up and over that little step ladder right there and into the spawning grounds. Those are spawning grounds because the water is actually very calm, and you want the water to be calm because you don't want your eggs flowing off into the ocean, yeah? And so the ladies like to lay the eggs, the males like to fertilize the eggs. Once those eggs are laid, guess what? This is where the real gross part starts, okay? Because the baby eggs, they need something to fertilize, yeah? How do they get fed? Well, they actually feed on their family's decaying bodies there, folks. They eat their mama and daddy's decaying bodies. Oh, fish on there, folks. Fish on right here. Guy caught a nice fish, a nice silver salmon right over here. Now, he's bringing it up there, guys. Let's walk over and check it out, yeah? Oh, yeah. How cool is that, everybody? How cool is that? Oh, yeah. Fish on. I love it.
When did the salmon start running?
Yes, May 15th. Around there. That's the king salmon. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
You can tell the different ones just by looking at them?
No, it's just the time of year.
Oh.
Just the time of year. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, yep. So that's a silver salmon. How cool is that? Awesome. Okay, so we have 5 different types of salmon that come up here to Alaska. Did anybody teach you the 5 different types of salmon yet?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, for the ones that don't know it, I'm going to teach you guys again, okay? So there's 5 different types of salmon. First, I'm going to do them first, and you guys will do them with me second, okay? So you have the chums, the sockeyes, the kings, the silvers, and the pinks there, folks. So you ready to do them with me? Put your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care. So you got the thumbs are for the chums. The pointer finger, that's for the sockeye, because you can point your eyes out, yeah? The tallest finger, those are the king salmon. The ring finger, if the guy is cheap, he buys you silver. Then the ring finger, take the Y off, and you got the pinks. Those are the 5 different types of salmon. All these types of salmon do flow into these waters right here, and they like to come here up from about May 15th to about end of August, August 3rd, August 5th, around there. Now, every year, we have a thing called the Slammin' Salmon Derby. That Slammin' Salmon Derby is where people try to catch the largest king salmon. Now, when they're trying to catch the largest king salmon, they all fish right here. Now, the king salmon run from May 15th to June 1st. And during that Slammin' Salmon Derby, everybody wants to catch a fish, okay? We have 3 different ways to catch fish in Alaska. First is the Alaskan way to catch fish. You have to be an Alaska resident to do this type of fishing. It's called dip netting. Dip netting, to become an Alaska resident, you have to be here for 12 months and 1 day there, folks. Now, the way dip netting works is you first grab a rope, you tie yourself off, okay? Make a nice loop, tie it off, yeah? Then you go over to a tree, and then you tie off the second part of the rope, you know? So now you're secure, yeah? Then you walk down into that creek with a giant net. I'm talking like a Costco size net there, folks. And with this net, you literally shove it in the water, hold it like this, and all those salmon just swim right into the net, right so. Yes, ma'am. Oh yeah, how cool is that? Dip netting. My mom loves the dip net, and you know what? The other day, guess how much salmon she caught? She got 115 salmon in 38 minutes there, folks. How awesome is that? Yeah, we'll go into that right next. Yes, ma'am. Now the second type of fishing is my favorite. You either go on a boat or you're on the side of the river and you just cast and reel in, cast and reel in. That's my second type of fishing. Either rod and reel or fly fishing. The third type of fishing, my least favorite type of fishing to do, my favorite type of fishing to watch, everybody. Now, this is called combat fishing. The fun's in the name, yeah? So during that Slam and Salmon Derby, everybody wants to catch that giant king salmon. If they catch the largest king salmon, guess what they win? A brand new pickup truck. How great is that? Last year, the largest king salmon was caught by a 14-year-old young man. He caught a 38-pound king salmon. He won his dad that brand new pickup truck there, guys. Talk about a return on your investment, yeah? Now, the way combat fishing works is everyone wants to catch the same fish, yeah? The best time to go fishing in this creek is 3 hours before high tide and 3 hours after high tide. As the water is coming in, the water is coming out, those fish are trying to, go upstream and come back down, yeah? Well, everybody comes here during that time. And what they do is they actually line these waters right here. Everybody will be staying here 6 inches apart to a foot apart. And they're all casting and reeling in, casting and reeling in. Well, what happens when you guys are all standing right next to each other? Guess what? Sooner or later, when you cast at the same time as someone else, or you reel in and you start to tangle up those lines. Every day, or at least during this Slam and Salmon Derby, some old timers always get their lines crossed. And it's act like it's their very first time ever doing this. They always throw a big old tantrum. I love to watch it. In fact, when those guys are throwing a big old tantrum, guess what happens? They pull all their stuff out of the water, then they go back over here, and then they kind of fight over it. And guess what? While they're not paying attention, guess what happens? Everyone else is still casting and reeling in, casting and reeling in. Guess what? Every day, someone gets hooked in the cheek, gets hooked in the ear. Last about 2 or 3 weeks ago, guess what? I was here on my day off, and I watched someone get a hook in the eyeball. How cool is that? Isn't that awesome? It's so terrible. It's great to watch. He did save his eye. It was saved by the paramedics. No worries. It was pretty awesome to see, if you ask me. Now, when is the best time to catch those salmon? Either 3 hours before high tide, 3 hours after high tide. Because when those salmon are trying to go upstream into those spawning ground, if they don't first make it up and over, guess what? They have to turn back around, and then they go down to the ocean. They don't make it in there. They turn back around and go back up. They keep doing this until they get caught, or because that water in the ocean is salt water, this water is fresh water. The longer the salmon are in the fresh water, guess what? They actually start to decay and die there, folks. And so that's if you see any white stuff on any of the salmon, that's because their bodies are actually decaying. So the longer they're in there, the quicker they are dying there, folks. Now, what happens when you catch a giant salmon? You can do a few different things. First, you can turn it into fillets. Cut it all up, fillet it all nice and good. The second way is to can those salmon. To can a salmon is actually quite easy. What you do is you cut it all up into strips, about this thick, this wide, and then you put it into mason jars. You can do it in 2 different ways. And the first way is you can do it sweet, either using molasses or brown sugar. The second way is a savory version: salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, whatever. Put all that into the mason jar. Then you tighten it up with a lid, and then you put it into boiling water. Wait until the pop tops, and guess what? You have canned salmon. That's good for about 3 years. What do you use once you can it? Well, the savory stuff you just eat right then and there. No big deal. It's delicious. Just put it in your lunchbox. It's a good time. The other way, you have that savory version. You can do it a couple different ways. Think of it kind of like tuna fish, yeah? We use it for salmon sandwiches. Mayo, mustard, mix it all up, pickles and whatever. That's a good salmon sandwich. And the other way is we use it for dips. What we do is we take sour cream, cream cheese, one of those French onion packets, soup packets, put that in there, and then you put the salmon in, mix it all up, and you have a delicious, delicious dip for all your family occasions. Now, everyone always asks me, Cyrus, what is the best kind of salmon? Which one of those? Which one's the best? What should I order? Well, actually, the fresher the better. That's the real honest truth. However, I actually have a favorite dish. This dish is called Olympian style. There's halibut Olympia, chicken Olympia, salmon Olympia, and so on. The way Olympian style is made is what you do is you first saute vegetables. I usually do like an onion and a yellow zucchini. Then And then you take your protein, salmon, you crust it usually, and then they fry it all up so it's nice and crunchy. They put that on top of the sauteed vegetables, and they throw a nice cream sauce, a thick cream sauce over the entire thing. So this dish, Olympian style, is creamy, crunchy, and very delicious there, folks. Highly recommend it. Before you guys eat any salmon at any restaurant, the number one question you have to ask is, did you debone my salmon? Because if you're gonna spend 30 to 50 bucks on a nice meal, you don't want to be eating bones, right? Well, a lot of restaurants don't debone their salmon. So you always want to ask them, did you debone their salmon? Because if they don't, it's a lot of extra work and it's not a very tasty meal. I don't care how good it is. If you have to pull a bunch of bones out of there, it's not good. It's very time consuming. It's a real pain in the butt. But if you're paying 30 to 50 bucks for a meal, they should do it, right?
Yes.
So now that we talked about all this fish, who wants to go fishing, right? Well, just past this restaurant here, on the other side is a little red shack. At that little red shack is called the Bait Shack. Over there, you can rent fishing gear. You can actually get a pole. You can get an out-of-state license. It's about 30 bucks to get a license, and he'll basically suit you all up, ready to rock and roll. It's only about 30 bucks plus all the gear, so it's like 100 bucks in total. But you guys can take your chances at catching a salmon right here in this creek, the Ship Creek area. He'll fillet it all up for you, and he'll help you ship it home as well. How awesome is that? Now, everywhere in Alaska, there's different ways to catch a fish. There's either snagging or no snagging allowed. Snagging is where you catch them anywhere but the mouth. This area, you are only allowed to catch them in the mouth. If you don't catch them in the mouth, guess what? You're in big, big trouble. It's an honor system. If you get caught by the parks and the Fish and Game, guess what? You're in huge trouble. The Fish and Game, they do not have to wear uniforms. All they have to do is carry their badge with them. So if you catch a fish illegally, guess what? And you kind of like talk about it and brag about it to all your friends, guess what? They hear about it, they see you do it, they walk up and like, oh man, you snagged that fish. That's pretty great. He's like, oh yeah, don't tell Fish and Game. And then usually what happens? I'm Fish and Game. Here's a ticket, buddy. It's pretty great. I love it. But does anybody have any questions, though? Any questions about this area? Pretty cool place, though, huh? Yeah. Nowhere in Alaska or in a lot of parts of the world can you just get off work, drive 15 minutes from work, catch a salmon, drive on home, and barbecue it. How cool is that? The cold, I'm going to say at least 40 degrees, 40, 50 degrees. Yeah. Excellent question. Excellent question. Any other questions, though? Any questions at all?
Which one do you like the best?
Again, it's really just about what is freshest, to be honest with you. They're all really good. People always say Copper River Red, but actually that water is not the purest, and so it's just really good marketing at the end of the day. But they all taste good, to be honest with you. They really, really do. Again, I just love free salmon. That's my favorite. Oh, yeah. Are you guys ready to hop on the trolley and go to the next destination? Perfect. We are off.